in theory, I am now live. And of course, I will waffle for about 15-20 seconds until it turns up on my secondary device to make sure that I've actually gone live. So, how's everyone chilling? How's everyone doing? Hot take, right? You think that the Leapers are better than the Emissary? I'm shook. So I have, oh, there you go, I'm live. Nice. Cool. I will mute that. Cool. So I'm really surprised. So I've got my emissary right here. I built the Emissary because I thought it had a cooler pose than the wait, what's the other one? Assimilator? I wanted to call it an ambassador. I would have liked it if there was that emissary and ambassador theme. That would have been cool. Yeah. Is he cooler than... No, I think he's cooler, but that's because, as we all know, bigger is better. Am I right, ladies? And I think... Let's mend the thing. Oh, Paul, what are you doing? And I think this is a cooler pose in general. However, I did buy additional Leapers off of eBay because they were like 15 quid. Such a bargain because of that Leviathan box, right? And this is now wildly in my way, this poll that I put up. I need to turn that off. That was just me having fun. Close the poll. There you go. But I bought 3 more, and then also off eBay I bought the Tyranid Warriors ranged sprue, and so I've just super simple arm swaps. I now have the best looking Tyranid Warriors in the game, and 50 more base instead of 40. Right, because I want to do a high fleet team, basically. What did I do? So I got all the new Gene Stealers, and I got the new Hormigants, because I actually think Hormigants are good. I think Termagants suck in high fleet, but Hormigants have a place. I've never really run Tyranid Warriors much, but like, might as well have them. I don't think they're bad, they just don't fit into how I want to run high fleet, I think. Anyway, the schemes on those Siles Kassakin, yes, so John, those are Kassakin. I did those in Photoshop. Oh, sorry, Photopea, one of the many free variants of Photoshop. A couple of months ago now, month ago-ish, because I had some Imperial Guard that I wanted to get painted because I couldn't be bothered to paint them myself. And so I did 2 quick versions because, you know, I love yellow, right? Would I prefer yellow cloth or yellow armor? And I just quickly threw them into that, that program just to see which one's which. Oh, by the way, I'm probably going to be going over BCP stats and data and stuff today because I don't have anything else to do. I have no purpose in talking here. So I thought that would be an easy thing to fill time, especially since we aren't getting the current stats updated by Hot Sauce Teddy at the moment, which we'll also talk about a little bit later, once we finish saying hello to all of the beautiful people. Marcus Mayer, hello. Oh, hey, Glass. Oh, hey. Major Tom, good to see you. Johnny says, Andy, I just watched you playing Kill Team with Kassakin. Love Manta. That was me. I was there, yes. And of course, if you are either my patron or a patron of Tabletop, Play on Tabletop, you will also see a second game that we recorded, which was played between me and Steve. And that was really good. I actually think, I'm going to say it, and I say it pretty much every day that I do a patron video. I think it was the far more interesting game to watch. Obviously, it wouldn't get as many clicks because the idea of playing on a Manta has a spectacle angle to it. But the game itself was pretty mid. But the game that I played against Steve, super engaging, but it was patron only. And they allowed me to share that link with my patrons, hence why my patrons can also see it. Great game though, really good, really good. Beautifully edited as well by moving over there, so nice. Marcus, I wanted to say thank you for the double and triple hellos. Well, hey, if you're subscribed to my channel and you're watching me live right now, I'd like to give you a big double hello. Wow, so wholesome. Everybody stay hydrated, get your drinks. Pinky out or you're not a real man. Lovely. Von Ryan Leapers are cooler. Nah, different, very different. Very dynamic poses. I think they're a bit too weird with their claw things, you know? Having an 18-man swarm, okay, yeah, that's cool. You've convinced me. By pointing out that you can have 18 of them, I am now convinced, yes. I had success with Gene Stealer's Hormigants, just using the gaunts as missiles. Yes, so that's how I've played them before. Because they're GA2, you just give like 5 of them your little acid maws, run up, you get, because you're hitting on 2s, it's like you get some damage through GA2, charge. Like, you can do pretty well with that swarm, I think. Jordan, yellow is awesome, that's true, but it can be tricky to get the shade you want. I've only ever painted it to showcase my Night Lords killing one of Dawn's sons. So I'm never picky when it comes to shades because I'm colorblind. So I've no, that's true. Sorry, I like bright. The brighter the better. Give me that bright glitter, baby. So I've always used Iand in yellow, or back in the day, I would spray all white and use the yellow wash, which was Casanadora yellow? Cassandra yellow? No, it's Casanadora yellow, I think. And that worked just fine as well. So I've never had an issue with getting my things to have a yellow shade to them. That was all I cared about. I'm not really fussy about having great, big, good-looking models. Lord Inquisitor Vex, I'm out of the loop. Can you fill me in on the state of Kill Team ATM, please? Double hello. So Lord Inquisitor Vex, I recall that you joined my live stream. The first one I did ever. Well, not ever, sorry. The first one I did this edition, basically. It was a month or two ago, 3 months ago. And what I was doing in that first live stream as an idea was I was reading a script that I then cut and turned into a video. And during me reading it, because I wanted it to be uncut as a video, I was ignoring chat for 20 minutes while I did the bit. You came in and said, "Hi, how's it going, everybody? Oh, he's live." And then immediately, "Oh, he's not really live," and left. And I was really sad. So there you go. Now I don't do that anymore. State of Kill Team. So, brilliant time to be looking at Kill Team because there's no news at the moment. We're in between Season 2 and 3. We believe Season 3 is going to be coming November. That's the latest rumour from Valrak. And we're just chilling, really. We're just living life. Living la vida loca, if you will. A lot of people, obviously, 10th has just dropped. So I think there's an all-time low interest in Kill Team right now, because there are other things going on. We're still doing tournaments, like those are still well attended. There's not really a drop in people playing it, but there's a drop in people watching it because there's no news, because we're just waiting, because we've had our balanced data slates and we're chilling till November. And I'm going to do my absolute best to not break into song about Wyclef Jean or something. Yeah, what a G. So yeah, this is actually like really good time to be chatting Kill Team because there's no news. I'm going to use the word stagnant, but what I mean is stable. There you go. That's a synonym. Nice. We're in a good moment right now to examine. And I genuinely think what we're getting right now is we're starting to see a meta cycle come out. Game's in a really good place from a balanced perspective. And so we're starting to see a meta cycle, which means we had cults, which kind of had the emergence of commandos come out. We're in the commando meta right now, but soon, commandos, they ain't always on top. They're a really, really strong team. That's undeniable. But people are going to start playing the meta. when they go to the next tournaments, they're going to be saying, how do I beat commandos? Whereas before they were thinking, how do I beat cults? So now you're going to start seeing people taking the counter to commandos. And we're going to go through that till we get our next releases. And yeah, good time. And obviously, whatever people start bringing to take on commandos, you know, legionaries, intercession, etc., things that can handle them acceptably, if not easily. Nothing handles commandos easily, to be clear. We then start seeing those rise to the top a bit more. Then we'll start seeing people say, okay, how do I beat them? Right, now I go, or you'll start seeing people, I know it's the commandos meta, so everybody's going to be bringing legionary, so how do I beat legionary? And we're going to get into a nice little meta cycle for the next few months. Because the game's pretty balanced, to be honest. So, yeah. Fabian Fisher, rule question. I am guardsman with take aim order. My plasma guy fires a hot gun and rolls a 1. So with take aim, I can reroll every 1. Do I take the mortal wound? How often can I reroll a 1? Fair question, Fabian. So in Kill Team, we roll our dice, and we don't really care what we roll there. You're in the re-roll stage of your dice rolling, if you want to view it that way. It's only once you kind of then get to say, I'm going to re-roll this, or I'm not going to re-roll this, because you're in that little phase of the dice roll, or the shooting sequence. And it's only once you retain a dice that you take its effects. So, simply put, because you have take aim, you can re-roll all the 1s, and because they have not been retained, you don't take any mortal wounds. And so then it's only once you retain the dice that its effects occur. However, you ask how often can you re-roll a 1? You can never re-roll a re-roll. So you can only re-roll each dice once. So if you re-roll a 1 into a 1, you have to accept that 1. I understand, obviously, that other people are going to answer you faster than I answered you there, but I've got to make content somehow, right? Brian, I think I'm going to paint my army Behemoth, and imagine them as Court of the Nephilim King. I don't know what Court of the Nephilim King is, and I'm going to be honest with you, if it's not a Space Marine, or one of the 7 chapters, founding chapters, I don't know what Behemoth is either. I've painted my guy like this, because, do you know what this is? So I did all of my, oh, he's not painted. I don't know. I don't need props to talk. So I did all of my Tyranids for Leviathan in a very, very rushed scheme, and I wanted mentally to do it as fast as possible, but actually I don't like what I've ended up doing, so I've painted an entire Leviathan box in a scheme I don't like. Great. This, I had a little bit more time, and I wanted, you know, it's such a big model, I wanted to make it something a little bit more special, and something that I actually liked. So, I went with a colour that I never use. So we've got a brown carapace. I'm a hobby channel again. How do I keep doing it? Can you have a close-up of the bug? You can, but not super easily. Hold on. Unfortunately, this is the best camera that I can do this with. There you go. So, this is just a very simple zenithal spray, followed by, blue wash, Techless blue? No, begins with a T. The new blue wash that they do, whatever that's called, Tyran blue, for the skin, followed by Garagax Sewer for the chitin. Is that what it is? I don't know. And then, you know, just like a standard Seraphim sepia for the claws, followed by a little bit of blood for the blood god on the tips, because that's G. Yeah, there you go. And I just, and then Luxian purple for the psyche bits, you know, keeping the gangster. And I just now, you can't really see it, I think, but I've just now given it a dry brush on the chitin, just to show it off a bit. But Maybe it's my eyes, but I can't actually see the dry brush, so I did that. But that was with bootstrap leather from P3. I quite like P3 as a paint range. It goes on very smoothly, so yeah. But I'm not a good painter, so I wouldn't really pay attention to what I like, to be honest. Pretty cool for a bug. Is that the new hive type? This is the Norn thing. This is specifically the emissary, because it had brains, and I like the idea of a brain bug, you know. Sorry, I missed some stuff there. Brewster's Minions. Hello, Brewster's Minions. How's it going? Good. Thank you for doing the hobby. You know I hate it. I hate it. Fabian, no problem. Sadist72, I think what's hurting Kill Team is it being not the introduction in 40k that it should. It need, ooh, contentious. Love it. Love it. Okay, guys, we're just talking about this one bullet point for the next 7 hours. It needs to make 40k on a smaller scale instead of veering off into a different path, I think. I'll come back to that after I finish chat. Bigger than you thought the model was. Can we get a... I'm going to get a Dreadnought so that we can see an actual size comparison. Hold on. I'm sure, or I'll get Guillaume too. There you go. Why not? Because I've got them all right here. Cool. Right. Here we go. Let's do Guillaume first. Okay. Don't have enough hands, sorry. Here we go. They're level. Guillaume comes up to just the right height, and I say, hey, hey, ho, demonetized. If you know what I mean. If you know what I mean. Lovely. And then we get the Dreadnought. There we go. Yeah. Nice. Not too shabby. I will say, I'm just going to throw it out there, I wanted this guy to be bigger still. I really wanted him to be Wraith Knight size. You know? There you go. It's fine, whatever, it's fine, but size matters. Like Big Licks says, yep, a neat fella, yep. The chat jumped. Pretty cool for a bug. Nope. Where am I? I'm pleased Kill Team is its own thing, right? That's onto that point. Yeah, the dry brush is showing. That's good. Thank you. My colorblind eyes, hard for me to tell. I often go too stark with my dry brushes, my subtle details. That's why I don't do them well. That's why I keep things pretty broad strokes. That's a good pun there. I hate the move. Sadie's coming in hot. Why are you on this channel? Like, that sounds bad. But like, genuinely, you sound like you don't really like Kill Team. Why do you watch, out of curiosity? I hate the movement icons in Kill Team. I wish they just made them stand movements in inches. They also need to make narrative books or something like Crusade. Okay. Sadie's, but how would it be even smaller than boarding actions and combat patrols if each model was its own unit? But you still had turns the way it is 40. Norn is smaller than I expected. Agreed. Said the movement is in inches. Yep. I don't know. I kind of like how Kill Team is more detailed than 40k. Lol. Rowboat girly man. True. Kill Team isn't an entry point 40k. It's there to catch people leaving so they don't end up in non-GW games. Cool. Right. Man, what should Kill Team be? So, firstly, to say this there, I want to say I totally see where you're coming from, and that's how Kill Team was in the last edition, 2018 Kill Team. And I think that is a totally valid thing to want and for GW to do. Like, I don't think that's in any way a bad idea. And I obviously I liked the last edition of Kill Team. And one of the good things about it was that it was teaching me to play 40k. I did genuinely like that about it because I wanted to play 40k, just didn't have the models yet, or just wasn't yet ready to go up for whatever reason, or I wanted to play a smaller game, either in footprint or in time or whatever. Sorry, I have a whole load of spray cans here, and that's what that is, in case you're wondering. Yeah, there you go, right. Oh, we're back to the Coke then. Okay, Pepsi now. I've taken my Pepsi Max, not just, you know, Max, so no sugar, but also caffeine free these days. Because I'm a G. Okay, I'm a road man. I need to stop, kill me, Jesus. Say this, no, I like the structure of Kill Team. It's the small stuff like movement, keep the structure as is. I like the game mechanics. Tabletop gamers don't really like tape measures. They genuinely put people off trying the game. Resemblance, hello. I'll be playing my Grey Knights in Hunterclade. Any tips? And would it be too much to ask my friends retcon my GKs to have 12 instead of 11 wins? Interesting. Yeah, so honestly, what Sadis was saying there, that is genuinely a whole conversation of its own, which I would want to sit down and really think about, because I think it's a very valid point. And if I'm honest, I don't think it's better or worse than what we currently have. It's just different. So, you know, if I were GW, I guess that's what Combat Patrol is, really. Such a tough one. The rule set of Kill Team is so different to 40k that, yeah, it's not 40k at all, really. Happens to use the same models, but it could be from another company. Like, well, God, sorry. Almost, you know? So, I suspect, in reality, GW is big enough that it could put out an additional format for 40k that is essentially 40k light, which is you have one squad and you're activating things individually. Like, I think GW has room that they could do that with a book, and it would be separate enough as a rule set from Kill Team that people would play both versions of whatever that other thing would be called. Yeah, which is weird. I don't think, and that's basically what Kill Team 2018 was, and they did a great job with that, I genuinely think. Yeah, there were some rough edges, but every game has some rough edges. Yes, Major Tom points out that, he says tabletop gamers. I'm going to refine that to board gamers, because I think tabletop gamers kind of implies us as well, war gamers. But yes, tape measures are scary, you know, genuinely. Resemblance, get back to you in a moment. I think it would catch more from 40k if they updated companion rules to be closer as to the new teams. I don't think it's needed, if I'm honest. I think, I'm going to throw it out. I think Compendium's great. I still think it's great. I think that if GW just wanted to do Compendium, if they wanted to do 2018 release schedule for this version of Kill Team, I think we'd be very well off. I think the Compendium was a great, pretty damn well internally balanced book. Yeah, there were some outliers, of course. They could have dealt with all of that in the first balance patch, maybe two, to really iron things out, and then we just get an update book once a year. They could have done that. I think the Compendium was a really good set of rules. I don't think it needs to be updated. I don't think the game needs anything more, and I think that the Compendium team being so simple is totally fine. Because if you play Kill Team enough that you want to move on from Compendium, well, you're probably good to go. I don't know, like, yeah. Then you'd be looking for, I've lost my train of thought. Probably, but that's not GW's model. It might be better if it was just inches. Inches versus shapes is a real tough one. I'm all in on shapes, obviously, but I did this as, sorry. This was a meme, this was a joke. Like, I don't love shapes or something, I just thought, you know. And because I have to deal with shapes, I might as well point out the good things about it, you know. John, Andy, what food would you order from a Chinese fair? Question. So I'm a big fan of salt and pepper chicken, starter, you know, like the fried stuff. But then I'm pretty basic bitch when it comes to a main. I like just chicken and black bean sauce, egg fried rice. But I have diabetes now, so I'm not going to eat that again. Great fun. By tabletop gamers, I mean role players, board gamers, and card gamers. I agree. In that case, war gamers are war gamers. Tape measures are very true. Nothing more cringe than a tape measure. So, Right, resemblance, I will answer you now. Oh, wow. Okay, so when I read your first message, you said GKs have 14 wounds instead of 11. That's a pretty big step up. The 14 was covered by a little symbol I have on my desktop. The little heart in the corner there, which you can press if you want, everybody. It just sends a little heart floating up on the chat for some reason. Let's press it now. Whee. Oh, hundos. Hold on, all right. I can't press that here. And I ruined my my desktop, so one sec. Let's bring that back. I'm gonna close that. That shouldn't be up anymore. So, ooh, squid is better than chicken, I agree, but it's also more expensive, and in this day and age, right? Templates are more cringe than tape measures? Ooh. Templates are basically movement widgets. So I'm gonna have to say tape measures are worse. I don't know. So, sorry, resemblance. I think, if I'm honest, I think 14 wounds for a Grey Knight's too much. I thought you were going to ask, would it be too much if you wanted them to have 12 wounds? 14? I don't think they should have 14. I think them being buffed to 12 wounds would be totally fine and acceptable, but they're not Primaris. They shouldn't be assault intercessor levels of health from a way in which Kill Team puts its lore and fluff into the models. But I think 12 wounds would be fine. And I suppose if, as you play, you know, Grey Knights do have some really bad matchups, but not all matchups are really bad for them. So if you go into those really bad matchups, yeah, you're going to need 14 wounds. But if your friends are willing to fudge with rules a little bit, then you could consider, oh, I'm into whatever team, Kassakin, whatever. So can I get 14 wounds instead of 11? Maybe. But into Hunterclade. Any tips? So if it's a decent Hunterclade player, you're going to lose, to clarify. That's a really tough matchup for you. They have good melee, and they have good shooting. On the flip side, I will say that you also have good melee and good shooting, and your shooting will be effective into them because they've only got 4 or 5 up saves. So it'll be close fought if you're of similar skill levels. Obviously, all these things depend on terrain very heavily. If they're able to get vantage points on you, you're screwed. You won't be able to do anything. But if you manage to close up, then actually you're going to need charges to get rid of their infiltrators and assassins, etc. But yeah, it's winnable, I suppose. But it depends heavily on terrain and skill level. It's a little bit of a knife's edge balance, leaning towards the Hunterclade more than the GK. Grey Knights with relentless melee and shooting is already pretty powerful. Yep, agreed. Chicken is versatile. Chicken is good. Chicken is good. Jerry with a laugh emoji. Good. Nice. Eric Isaacs. Shapes make sense to new games, and experienced games can easily convert a circle to 2 inches. I like the measurement widget person. Yeah, I'm obviously on the same batting at the same wicket as you. Cricket's great for analogy. I don't even know what a wicket is, just love it. I do, don't at me. Mate, have you thought about running a glass half dead meetup? Yes, I do that every day on my Patreon. Go check there, sign up right now. No, I'm kidding. No, not really. I don't know what I'd do with it, to be honest. I think a glass half dead meetup would just be a bit weird. I don't know how I'd do it. I mean, what would it be? I could do it. Hire out a pub, just invite people down and say, hey, bring whatever game you want to play. Somebody there will play it with you, and essentially run it like it's a local game night, but I'm running it, I guess. I don't know. It's not a bad idea, obviously. Sounds sus. Correct. For me, replace current movement with standard inches, make Crusade-style narrative books, and then let's add some Terminators to the game. Sure. Let's add some vehicles too. I've always wanted to play a knight in Kill Team. Go for it painting. Hello? Hello, go for it painting. He's correct. You should hit the thumbs up. Don't really know why, but you should. It's an algorithm thing. Brewster's Minions, at least we're not in the European Union or we'd be going metric. I'd love it. I'm all for it. I think we should go metric. I want to move 15 centimeters. That's all I'm saying. And I want to dash 7.5 centimeters. Lord Inquisitive X. It's just easier to say 3 circle than 3 twos. Less confusing. So that is another point. If we went away from shapes, we would have to drop. We're not moving 3 twos. Because in fairness, Kill Team never did anything with that. And I think that's a mistake on the core rule set there. Yeah, like, it would have been cool if, oh, your guys can move 3 circles. That means you get to move a circle 3 times. So 3 straight movements, right? But if you're Eldar, you get to move 6 triangles, right? So it's like, you know, you're therefore more agile. And maybe if you're really slow Death Guard, you are able to move 2 square, right? Like, that could have been a way that they kind of lent into the shapes thing. As it is, shapes are genuinely just inches, which is fine, I guess. A Hearthkin moves 2 white circle plus a black triangle versus 5. Yes, indeed. The shapes don't mean anything. They are just inches. Don't know why for movement shapes they didn't go do. Yep, indeed. That was another mistake. WTF ads? I believe I have the video monetized, so it will play ads, I think. Yeah. Unless, of course, you're premium or ad blocking, which is... I pay for premium YouTube because I'm a sucker. No, it's because when I watch YouTube at work, I can't install ad blockers at work. So I just go premium. So, yeah. Too old to learn metric, very fair. Just liked it. Thank you, Sadis. Eric Isaacs, do you see any 3D printed terrain? Do you use any? Sorry. If so, no, I don't. There you go. I'm not against it. I just haven't. I don't own a 3D printer. I'm not against. I have 3D printed models, but I for some reason I just have enough Games Workshop terrain that I don't need more terrain. I was recently looking at it because I really want to build, like, just thematically for fun, really. I just want to build my own big kind of medieval Mordheim style, you know, ruined Gothic style city of, like, you know, cobbled stones and stuff. But it's all really expensive. There's some amazing stuff out there, but it's little. But for me, just thinking, oh, that would be fun, is a bit too expensive for me. If I actually needed it and it was going to make me money in some way, then I would 100% buy it. It's not that expensive. It's just a little bit beyond my threshold for impulse purchases. Too old to learn metric. But you learn shapes, Major Tom. That's practically metric. No, it's not. It's obviously as silly as Imperial. Do you think there will be a Terminator Kill Team at some point? It depends what GW model makers put out. I would say no, but maybe. Yeah. Hello from Space Coast, Florida. Love your content, honey. Love your comment, A-Rod. Well, I always thought that you did have to move in 3 moves. No, Lord Inquisitor, you didn't. It would make sense, right? It would make total sense that that's how it works, but it's not. You have to move in inch increments, though. I will say that. So let's say your base, it needs 1.5 inches to get around something. you have to use a full 2 inches. You're not allowed to move half an inch. Or, sorry, you can move half an inch, but you still use the full inch out of your movement allowance. Yeah. Yohad or Johad Ganor. Man, I was hoping for a Nid kill team. Yeah, don't have it. One day. Although I maintain that actually, the Felgor kill team is a great one thematically for Tyranids. So if you want to go and buy like the new Gene Stealers, you could probably convert those up convincingly, I reckon, and just call that your Tyranid team. Would varnish protect paint to keep crumbly base material from dropping off? To a degree, John, yes, it does. Certainly, the whole of my Eldar army I did with, very old school, just some grit and some static grass, and some pebbles, etc. And I used, so obviously, I found that you can use PVA glue, wood glue, whatever you prefer, but actually I just got better, faster results with just super glue, and it held better, to be honest with you. So I just use super glue, because whenever I use wood glue, everything just seemed to crumble off. It was very frustrating because I don't like bits everywhere. But yes, on top of that, varnish is essentially just a form of glue. If you want to view it that way, it's an adhesive, so it will apply a little bit of holding pressure to your base material as well. But like, not big things, but if you've got like fine grit, if you've got static grass, it will help with that, but you still need a base of an adhesive, yeah. Hashtag hobby channel, going hard. Vex, no, you can move in any amount of the line rounding up to the next 4 inch, yep. Multiple to kill team. Sean, hello. Hope you're good, Andy. To a degree, yes, thank you. I've been hobbying up my Inquisitorial agents. Lovely. Yeah, I've only played against Inquisitorial agents once. It was at that tournament where I played Warp Covenant and I got smashed. Yeah, they seem pretty good, don't they? Nega Live 0. Foam and cardboard can make that castle. Yeah, so that's the other thing. When it comes to miniatures, I'm not much of a kit basher because I'm not very good at it. But even I don't feel that, like, if I really wanted to make a whole city, Gothic city, I know that there are relatively easy ways to make it using, 20 quid of materials from my local hobby shop. It would obviously be more time consuming. But if money was a factor, then I know that I can do it myself, and I don't really need to go and 3D print. Sadis, do you think a Crusade style book would be good for Kill Team? Oh, I've lost you, sorry. Generalized one like in 9th, when eventually tailor Crusade rules for each faction in some way. Wonder how they would do that. This question was kind of asked in my last video, the Patreon Q&A. I don't see why they couldn't. I think that the narrative rules could be expanded upon greatly if they wanted to. Yeah, I mean, they could do anything they want. I wouldn't say they can't do that. Personally, I like branching campaigns that are quite tight in definition, almost kind of like the old Imperial Armor books where you are recreating a scenario. I quite like that as a concept because it gives the designers, they don't have to be as wishy-washy and floaty and free, where you say anyone can do anything. And you can instead be a little bit more constrained and say, we know this is a little bit unbalanced because you're recreating this thing and this is what's meant to happen, and because of that we know that in the next branching path you've probably gone this way, and so we're going to account for that, blah blah. I don't know. That's up to them though. Hopefully we get some upgrade sprues to bring over some of those amazing Warcry Age of Sigmar Underworld models. I mean, we won't, but sure, that'd be good. I would like to build Mordheim, but model it on Coventry or Swindon. Okay, all right, never been, but sure, sounds good. Corvus terrain, I think it was Corvus terrain I was looking at, or I definitely looked at them a little bit, you had. Wonder if the new season will have its own special rule set like Gallodark did. Well, so I have already written, and at some point I will do this before November, obviously. The only thing we know is Guard, right? So I wrote a whole script about how would Guard being in open play affect the game. And yeah, that would be cool. I would like Guard to be in open. You need to get the Inquisitor team. How do they play? I don't think they're a great beginner team. They have some really interesting things that they can do, but they require the most number of models to be played because you can take because you're a 7 model team, and then you take more models from Breachers, Kassakin, Exaction Squad, or Vet Guard, or the other, I think it's 5 from the Inquisitorial team, and with the Inquisitorial team, everyone does something different. So there's no kind of easy, oh, this is my gunner, he shoots stuff, right? There's nothing quite as simple as that when it comes to Inquisitorial agents. So possibly a little bit challenging if you're not used to the game. Doable, but yeah. They're a team that messes with other teams a little bit, yeah. Octarius missions have terrain layouts that seem to intentionally limit movements of larger base models. Is that intentional? Probably not. No. But you have scramble terrain, so you're able to move. You're able to scramble, and that's probably why they would do that, I guess. Played versus Inc. with my commandos Thursday. They look to have a high cognitive load. Yep. See mission 2.3 around the center of the map layout. Interesting, okay. I'll take a look at that, it's interesting. Played as Inquisitor Agents twice and lost twice. Well, it's a tough team. It's a tough team, Don't mind the high cog load, but the team is all bloodletters. That's fair then. You've got the simple team, and now you can have the more complex team. Phobos Marksman doesn't like others to have guard in open. Well, that's fair, good point. Track target is still better than guard. That interrupt is important, but yes, fair. Teams like Votan is there literally any reason to ever take the Warriors? No, never. You're not supposed to do it. It's just a thing that you can do as a baseline operative, so that if you happen to have that team from 40k, it is still technically a legal team to play WYSIWYG in Kill Team. Easy E. Hey Andy, love the channel, thank you. What do you use to transport your Kill Teams to tournaments? I use a, is it 3 litre? Really useful box. I've heard crazily that they're expensive outside of the UK, but in the UK they're dirt cheap. So it's just here. Here we go. What size is it? 1.6 litre. This is it. This carries my whole roster, all of my attack op cards, all of my widgets, my dice, my barricades. There you go. Fits, all my tokens as well, don't forget those. Fits in a backpack and is convenient enough that if I didn't want to take a backpack, I could carry it, no problem. Have you ever ran a tournament? If so, I have. I've run 3 this edition, I think. Maybe only 2. Any tips? Yes. So, pro tip. You're going to want to have all of the tables set up before they get there. You set the terrain up. You also put down the objective markers. Now, of course, they can be my objective markers, but they could be any objective marker. And blue tack everything in place. That's your key. That's the sign of a premium tournament. Not just the objective markers, but the terrain. Blue tack it all to the board. It'll save you a lifetime of pain, I promise you. Gives things a real premium feel. Take the scissors slides if you want to make it simple. What was that? I don't don't think anybody talked about custodians, did they? Still don't understand how line of sight visibly works even after watching a variety of videos. That's fair, Harry. It's really complicated. How can I explain it simply? So, it is easy once you know, but I don't know where you're missing with it. So basically, the first thing you do is check visibility. That's easy. Can your model draw a 1mm line of sight to any part of the enemy model? If yes, then you move to the next step. At which point, forget the models exist, whatever. Think about the base. Can you draw a line of sight, a line, a cone, really, from any part of your base to the whole of the enemy base? If you can probably shoot, assuming it's on an engage. There you go. That's pretty much it. If it's on a conceal, probably can't shoot it. It gets more in depth than that, but that's the core system. Lord Inquisitive X, even with the other detachment, can't you... Oh! I was obviously thinking of Custodes, right. Yeah, so, sorry, if you want a less cognitive load way to play Inquisition, yes, just take your 5 Sisters of Silence, all with Great Blades. You know, not bad. They essentially deal, 10 wounds before they die, because they're 8 health. They get into melee and hit twice. So consider them to just be 50 wounds off the enemy team. There you go. Not a bad way of running them. Jerry Vang, if running a tourney, think about how to give a reason for the non-competitive casual people to come. There will be way more casual than competitive players. Need to reward them too. That is true. As much as the online kill team community is very much not the in-person kill team community. You forgot how much fun kill team is? It is fun. Yes. Yes. I agree. Are the critical ops cards essential to play in tournaments? Yes. They are. However, you can just get them online. So, yeah. They've had real problems keeping that item in stock to the point that like nobody can get them. So they are essential, but you can't get them. So I think it's literally just called kt-tacops.info or something, and it's just all of the, and they're on Wikipedia as well now, and kt-. So they're everywhere. Sister of Silence, not Sisters of Battle. You can just do 5 swords. Yeah, yeah. Does it have to be sauce, or are they the best, or are they just the best option? Lol. Just think that there's 50s off the 50 wounds. Yes, correct. Yeah, they're good. Into the Dark Shadow Vault, Soul Shackle, Gallifall. Yes, I agree. Okay, well, wow, caught up to chat after 45 minutes. I feel like Harry was meant to not put that into Google instead of the chat, so fair play. Right, well, now that we're here, shall we look at some tournament results? How smutty gory can models get before it reaches the sign off loud line? Well, as with all things in this world, there is no limit to the gore. Smuttiness, if they need to wear pasties to not show nips, then they've gone too far. And no open butt cheeks. Yeah. They're the simplest option. Yep. KT Dash is brilliant, even includes a mission generator. Oh, so with KT Dash, I literally just use it for rules. I have never used the advanced features because that's just not how I've done things. Right. Shall we take a look at Kill Team? No, let's not. Right. Put me down here. Lovely jubbly. Okay, what are we looking for? So we're just looking at, hey everybody, I pay for BCP just so that I can do this for you. So if you want to, if you want to make that BCP subscription worth my while, consider doing something, I don't know. Pay me back, that's what I meant to say. Right, Kill Team, yep, search. So we're on Saturday. So normally I do this on a Sunday, but tomorrow I'm busy. I'm actually recording a, what's the word? Vantage Point episode. Thank you. Tomorrow, which I'll be streaming on Twitch. So do check me out there. And so I couldn't do that. Had to do this today. Right. I brought up the chat in my mobile. So what to do a sportsmanship award via votes, but the store owner doesn't want to do that. He wants to do last place gets free entry into next month's tournament, which is better. Not doing a sportsmanship award is odd. Like, that's a pretty standard award to give out. Last place gets free entry into next month's tournament. You know, I think it's important to kind of, you know, give a prize to everyone in a sense, but I don't know, personally I would prefer a best sportsmanship or best hobby than a last person gets an award, but yeah, I don't know, whatever. You know Longshanks has kill team events too, right? No, Tom, because nobody uses Longshanks in the GW sphere. And you know that. So, let's be honest. I know you know that. BCP is what people use. It's what GW officially backs. It's what they use. So, you know, we got to do it. We got to do it. Let's just click through some of these. What are we doing? I'm not going to click through all of them. So we've got a 40 man in Australia. We've got an 18 in New York. Hosted by Travis, a member of the Brooklyn Rats. Cool. What's this? This is a Spanish one. 18, 28. Not bad. All right. Let's have a quick look through these lads. Let me also check if you can see them. Yes, you can. Good. Have you encountered any variations in how different places playing kill team, like maybe they treat terrain differently, bigger clubs with scattered terrain being heavy when they would be light in your area? No. We have homogenized quite a lot, I think. In the first year of Kill Team, there were some relatively large differences between both tournaments within the same area and like larger tournaments in the same area, because obviously it comes down to how much terrain can you get. And we also had quite a different terrain setup versions in Europe versus America and UK. At least these were the ones kind of being shown online. I'm sure others had more as well. But with the release of multiple map packs, I feel like we're getting very homogeneous across the board. Which is fine, like consistency is good. I think that's fair to say, but I don't know, I don't feel like we've cracked it. That's all I'm saying. I think there's still room for more terrain variation out there. Chris Barrett, if you have multiple reanimation tokens on the board, can you bring back multiple Necros with the reanimation protocol provided you run one with 3 out of the Tomb World? Ooh. I'm going to say yes. But I don't really remember Tomb World rules. With Hybrid Circle, you definitely can. And I assume it is the same for Tomb World. I vaguely recall it is. Yeah. Sportsmanship and petty awards seem weird to me coming from X-Wing, where neither are needed. Alright? Fair enough. I mean... no. That's bullshit. Sorry. There's no painting, but if you're saying you don't need sportsmanship, that's dumb. You need sportsmanship in all games, okay? I'm sorry. I'm not letting you get away with that one, Major Tom. You can't boomer it on this, okay? Sportsmanship is always a good thing to include. Gosh. All right. Although it occurs to me now that you were saying that in X-Wing they did not have that award, not that they didn't have sportsmanship, but the way I answered was funnier. So, this was, what was this? Was this the Australian one that I clicked on? Maybe. So, one by Hand of the Archon. Great to see Hand of the Archon. So Hand of the Archon haven't taken many tournaments. First place at all. Podium, still not many. So it's cool to see Hand of the Archon actually take something. And this is a big event. I think it was it 33 players? Like, big. That's good. Novitiates, second. Novitiates are a bit of an odd one. They used to be really good, and now they've kind of been brought down and in line, and everybody kind of moved away from them after the nerfs, and it seems like they're sitting very mid tables. But is that because people have they had their fun with them when they were OP and they've moved on? Because they are a challenging team to play. You know, they're very delicate, so if you don't know what you're doing, they just get wrecked. And Void Dancer Troop, they're OP broken still, so seeing them in third makes total sense. Hunter Clay, Blooded, Vet Guard, Imperial Navy Breaches, High-Tech Circle. All looks good, all makes sense. Very cool. We then have Poland. This was 15 players, so a small one. But obviously we have Matusz up top with Inquisitorial Agents, followed by Kamil, who is another... and the Lucashes, of course, down there. Both with Legionary. Oh, okay. All right. Commander's taking third. Interesting. Okay. Interesting. Inquisitors, Breachers, Commandos, Legionary, Breachers, Inquisitors, Commandos, Hunterclade, Void Dancer, High-Tech. Oh, God. That's like a nightmare of a... absolute Shark Tank of a tournament that was. Jesus. Yes, best sportsmanship is just a way for TOs to give prizes to not so good player whom we feel deserves at least a little something. Yeah, I think that is the purpose of a best sportsmanship. However, I do recall at Warhammer Fest, Ace, I think, won both. Was it Ace? It might not have been Ace. Ace won it, but then somebody else won the best sportsmanship, but he also placed like second or third. Or it was Ace and he placed first, which is a bit awkward. How are Blooded getting on? Blooded are doing pretty good, pretty fine. Everyone kind of accepts that Blooded are pretty strong at the moment. They still don't get much play, but yeah. I've got to be honest, despite certain players bringing Blooded into the forefront with how good they are, I haven't played them since the one time I played them when they released. And for about 6 months after that, everybody agreed they were the worst team. So, yeah. All I know is they're not the worst team anymore. So there you go. Over in Spain here, only 16 players. Commandos, Felgor Ravagers, Inquisitorial Agents, Chaos Cults, Warp Coven. Cool. Corsairs. Yep, sounds about right. Commandos up top. Felgor Ravagers, obviously. I know they're good. I think everybody else that actually plays them knows they're good. This is most likely BCP messing up, but or do I need to click placings? Is that oh, there you go. Cool. Also Nestor. One with Hand of the Archon again. That's cool to see. Then Commanders of Void Dancer Troops. Very nice. In Session Novitiates Kassakin. Void Dancer Legionary. Okay. Cool. Good to see Hand of the Archon pulling through again. Interesting. Maybe there's some play there. We already knew there were. We've got here 22 players over in Spain. Intercession, Hearthkin, Ecclesiarchy. Interesting. So, I actually really want to know what Ecclesiarchy ran. I think Ecclesiarchy are a really... sorry, they're not the best compendium team, but I think that they are much, much better than people think they are. So I'm actually really curious what the Ecclesiarchy guy ran. Was he just running 10 sisters every game, and he just got through on 8 wounds, 3 up armor saves? Or was he running some of their really quite tasty melee options? Don't know. Intercession, you know, it's good to see Intercession up top, because typically Intercession gets gatekeeped a lot, and because of that, a lot of people think that Intercession, although good, aren't good enough, like to podium, but they definitely are. And yeah, Hearthkin won 3 games. I have no idea how. I only play against one Hearthkin player, and he hasn't beaten me yet, and so perhaps I have a lower opinion of Hearthkin than I should. Don't know. Because they've got decent shooting, like they're able to put damage through, but they're only able to put damage through essentially once I give them the option, because they're slow enough, and I'm typically playing a Marine team or an APL3 team into him. So it's a bit like, I don't know, Hearthkin are weird, that's all I'm saying. Finally, Void Dancers, obviously. Kassakin Intercession. What have we got here? 28 players. Okay, this is big. Void Dancers, Kassakin, Intercession, Hearthkin, Phobos, Hyrotech Circle. Interesting. So Void Dancers are up top, obviously makes total sense. Kassakin are really good into some teams, not so good into all teams. So I suspect that if we were to see his matchups, in theory I can do that. But not easily. No, I can't. BCP shows you the names of the people that they play into, but not what those people were playing, so you'd have to hunt through every single pairing. It's very annoying. Intercession 3rd, and again Hearthkin salvages 4th, so really cool. And Phobos, Hyrotech, nice. Somebody here called Tomorrow, interesting. Back to chat, sorry guys and girls. Nightfall talking to Major Tom. How are Blood getting on? Inquisition getting a lot of play there. Last I heard they had that nade nerf. That was a long time. That was like a year and a half, 2 years ago, Vex. So you have been out of it for a while. What did Hearthkin play against? I just kind of answered that. Really hard to tell on BCP, annoyingly. Would want to know how they did so well with Hearthkin. Wouldn't we all? Yeah. You hear it not in Hollywood. I guess Major Tom's going to Hollywood. I've yet to win a game at all with them. They're a tough team. I don't think you need to feel bad about not winning with Hearthkin. I feel like they get hard countered pretty easily by most teams. It's not that they're bad, it's that everybody else is just better. You know? Can't even beat yourself with Hearthkin. Yeah. I come 3rd in a 2-player game. What makes Hand of the Archon good? I've got them, but yet to play with them. So, Johnny, I'm not the guy to answer that. I played them once, and I essentially might as well have not played them because it was a 3-player match against Phobos and Void Dancers. So, I just got wrecked. I got shot by Obscurity ignoring Phobos on one side of the board, and I got meleeed by Void Dancer Troop on the other side of the board. It was horrendous. But they do have some very obvious kind of core things that they do. So you have good, you know, you've got multiple blaster options. They are good. You've also got a grenade that everybody loves, and you've got Omen, and just make those things work together. There you go. I don't really know how, but you can. So there you go. Archon are effectively 3 APL with a free dash for 1 CP each turn. Plus they can dash after a charge using a pain token, 4th Hearthkin placement. Got friends coming over to all learn kill team. They have a Deathwatch kill team and are just trying to get into the minis again. That's awesome, Yohad. You know? Kill team, when you take away TAC ops and don't worry yourself too much about the specifics of learning line of sight, is a really fast, fun game. So I think that's the best way to teach it. Have a few objectives on the board, you know, just say, yeah, you should probably stand near them. But, you know, really you're just letting them figure out engaged versus concealed. And if you're within 1 inch of terrain concealed, you can't be shot. If you're within 1 inch of terrain engaged, you can be shot, right? Like, that's pretty much the game. And it's a fast, fun game. It's honestly, at that point, about as fast as Warcry. Like, it's a very fast game, especially when playing Compendium. So, are Archon 3 APL with a free dash for 1 speed each turn? Is that a thing they have? Do they just have Fleet of Foot as I didn't realise that. I thought you only got that from Power from Pain, where you had to get a kill, right? Alright, gotta scramble an extra mini since their box is no longer enough for a team. Yeah, awkward, I realise. But is the game better for it? No, it's not. The game should have been toned down where 5 Marines was enough. 6 Marines, not needed. Not needed. Cool. Let's head back. Let's head back. Do we have any big ones coming out? 1428? September 10th this week? Okay. 28 players, that's worth a look. It's worth a look. Only 3 rounds though. Oh, 30 rounds. 30 players, 4 rounds. I'll take that. I'll take that. 5, 10, 8, 72. So, this event is today and has not finished, but 72 players. Great to see. I don't really know what Freak Wars is. I believe Freak Wars is the name of a big convention. I don't think it's just a kill team thing, because I saw Corvus Belli saying that they were taking their new game War Crow to Freak Wars, which made me think, oh, isn't that the kill team thing? But I don't think it is. I think it's just a big event that there is a big kill team event at as well. Right. CT7479 with a Star Wars logo, so I assume that's some sort of New Republic thing. I genuinely believe the engaged conceal mechanics to be one of the best pieces of rules by NG has done their 40 plus years of existence. Totally agree, it's really cool. I love it. Very thematic and also very functional for the mechanics. Jerry tried teaching someone the game yesterday night. They have Ecclesiarchy. Anything I can tell them to help them learn their team? I don't know that team at all. Ecclesiarchy is a solid team. There's not much to learn. It's a compendium team, and the strats are all very, very obvious. If they are running both Sister Repentia and Arco Flagellants, both of those have a single ploy that can be used depending on which one you're running. And then Sisters of Battle are just a pretty durable, easy team. That's probably what they should run, because you're just all 8 wounds, 3 up save, hitting on 3s. That's just a very reliable kind of stat line to run as you learn the game. There's not really much you can tell them, just stand on points, shoot stuff, pretty much, yeah. Oh, and your leader can melee, or get up close with a plasma pistol or melter pistol or something. So they should get close, everybody else should hang back as far as they can while still scoring points. There you go. That's the team. But again, your first few games really just start to understand the engage and conceal order and how that interacts with line of sight. And don't even think about how line of sight really works until you've had a few games. It should just be, if you're within 1 inch of terrain and not being, flanked, then if you're on a conceal, you can't be shot. If you're engaged, you can't be shot. Super simple. Nobody can mess that up, So anyway, this, how many players was it? 28 players in Spain. Cultists first. Nice. You love to see it. Because I think it was you, Matt, actually. I said in a recent video that Chaos Cults have been nerfed, but not by that much. And you left a comment saying, actually, they've been nerfed in 4 different ways, and it's huge. My point was just, you know, the nerf, although maybe had many bullet points, didn't like new to the team. They're still here, they're still ganging and banging, if you will, as we see, as they've taken first in the 28-player tournament, which is not great to see. I don't really like Chaos Cultists, but you know, it's good that they still have legs. Followed by Legionary, and then Blooded. Wow. Chaos was strong in Spain, in Valencia. I'd like to go to Valencia for the paella, actually, if I'm honest. Wouldn't mind going. Which Cryptic would you say is meta? Chronomancer. Don't run any of the others, just run Chronomancer. Wormblade, Chaos Demons, Talons of the Emperor, Farstalker, Kimban. So I played Wormblade 2 days ago. Wait, it's Saturday? 3 days ago? 4 days? I don't really understand time. I played Wormblade a while ago. First time in ages. I got absolutely stomped. We were playing open, and yeah, they were good. It was good to see. It's been so in my little local meta, not many people play the big horde teams. So I'm not used to how to counter someone that is on loot, going to GA2 push up turn 1 and take 2 middle objectives at once. Kind of forgot that was a thing. So he totally stomped me, really. If I were to play it again, I would play quite differently, I think. But it's because I haven't played a horde team for so long. I should play a horde team. Talking of that, Farstalker Kimban, I need to play them once or twice because they are going to be the team that goes up against my my Norn Emissary in my eventual, if it ever happens, I don't know, narrative battle report, my big boss battle, because that's quite thematic for them. I think because they're all about taking down the big prey, the big hunt. They're both on, coincidentally, purely, snowy bases, so yeah, that's my plan. But I don't actually really know how Kimban play. I've played them like 3 times, which is a lot for me. Maybe more than that. They're not a bad team, but all of them do something a little bit different. So they are one of those high cognitive load teams, even if they're good or bad, irrelevant. They are. You have to know what you're doing. Finally, now this was in Russia. 30 players. Commandos, Hand of the Archon, Breachers, Warp Coven, Hyrotech, Phobos, Void Dancer. Interesting to see Warp Coven up there. Everything else seems pretty in line with me. I rate all of those teams pretty highly. Not everybody does Hyrotech Circle. That's crazy. Hyrotech are really strong, I think. So makes total sense. Can't even read the first guy's name. But anyway, double Commandos, Hand of the Archon. Cool. At least it's good to see that all around the world we all are in that same meta cycle, which is pretty interesting. Even when we're not fully connected in other ways. They should put the tutorial missions from the starter set online, free. It's a nice way to ease in, just adding a couple elements each mission. I agree, that little starter booklet was probably how the game should have been released. With such a new system, I think they really needed that, to be honest. We needed something to help us learn the game as a community, And I think that, that little starter booklet did that quite well, and that should have just been online for free. Really, that should have been what Warcom posted. Like the first week after pre-orders, they should have just posted a mission a day. Like that's... You can hire me now, G-Dubs. But then, you know what? Games Workshop doesn't care if you play the games. They don't care if you like the rules. They've proved that with 40k. They just want you to buy their shitty models. I'm salty. They have great models, obviously. Didn't mean that at all. I just wish they cared more. No, I don't. I wish that people cared more about the rules. But they don't. People play... I swear. Right, it's my one bit of salt, okay? And I've said this multiple times. I am convinced that people who like 40k have not played a good game to compare it to, and so they just think they like the mechanics of it. But I'm sure it's because they haven't played anything good. Don't get me wrong, I'm sure that they like the models and the meta around Warhammer. There's so much there to like, but 40k is not a particularly good game, just from a mechanics perspective. Right, moving on. Moving on. Yohad, man, I really hope Hyrotech comes back in stock at some point. Hard time getting anything for NIDS in 40k or some Kill Team teams. So I suppose one good thing about Hyrotech is that it's relatively easy to proxy and convert from regular Necron models, because they're all just kind of, silver skeleton dudes. So if you really want it, you should hopefully can put that together. Votan are so bad, are they not bad enough for you to play? Fair question. So my little local meta is really not that many people, and one of them has decided they're going to main Hyrotech, Hearthkin. Therefore, I won't play them. I played them... I think I played them twice. Obviously once on recorded, where I played against Ryan from Turning Point Tactics. And no, I didn't. I played against him. Sorry. I've never played Hearthkin. Oh, how about that? There you go. Crazy. No, I don't know what. Pass. Pass. No. Not a fan of them, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, somebody in my local meta is playing that is maining them. That's all he's playing. Got to be honest, I'm bored of playing against them, but it's what he's playing. So there you go. Have you played with/against? So, no. I have never played in this edition as or against Eleutherian Starstriders. Every single other team I have played at least once, either as or against, but not Starstriders. And I don't really have a reason as to why. It's a bit of a lie, I do. Because, so GW didn't send me a box, but I still had my box from Kill Team 18, right, when I bought the Rogue Trader box with Gelapox and Starstriders. And if I'm honest, I think I haven't painted them very well. I understand that the way I paint models is it's very much up for debate about the quality of it. But I actually like almost all of my paint jobs. There are a few I don't, and the Starstriders are one of the few that I don't. And so that's pretty cringe. I don't really want to look at models that I don't like with my paint jobs. And I'm not going to repaint them. I'm not a psycho, right? So no, I've never played as or against. Just haven't done it. Lord Inquisitor Vex has gone, BRB, thank God, because I suspect he might have had something to say about my salty 40k rant there. Steppenwolf, hey Glass, enjoy these hangouts, playing my first game with my Hyrotech in 2 days against Intercession, bricking it. If it's your first game, you're probably going to lose. However, the battle plan's pretty simple. Just all Gorse all day, baby. All Gorse all day. It's going to take you a few run-outs with Hyrotech Circle to figure out how to beat Intercession. Intercession is just a really strong, durable team. So, glass half full of salt, but he's right. You know it, bruv. You know it. Always right. Sometimes, occasionally, once. This is the one time I'm right. Yeah. I feel bad saying it, but I genuinely think I'm right when I say that about 40k. And that's not even such a big diss on 40k, Because there are some amazing games out there that are really, really good fun. And I just think 40k isn't one of them. And so it genuinely confuses me why some people, I'm not saying why they enjoy 40k, because again, there are so many meta reasons to enjoy 40k. But if you sit there and genuinely say, I think that 40k is a great set of mechanics, have you played a fucking board game? Like, I don't know. Fuck, I'd rather play Monopoly, you know? Anyway, don't do it. Legion. I assume that, Sadis, you're saying Legion in regards to me saying 40k sucks. And that is an example of a better game. I agree. I have played Legion once, so I'm not particularly experienced with it. But, yes, I would much rather play Legion than 40k. Although, really, you know, I can't really say that until I've played more Legion. So. You said you're going to play Felgor now. Joke, or you said, yeah, I'll play Felgor. Again, mainly because everybody says, oh, I think they suck now. But I don't think they do. So, that's like my sweet spot. It means they're out of the meta, because nobody's playing them, because they think they suck, because they've just been nerfed. But they're very clearly still good. So I kind of want to, it's like, oh great, so I can finally play a team that nobody's playing and win games. Yes, good. CT7479. Screw Strength, which team do you find has the most raw fun factor? I am in the middle of writing a script defining the most fun team. It is a challenge. Let me tell you that much. But you know what? Honestly, I hate to say it, but I think Commandos are pretty good fun. I am not going to play Commandos because obviously they're currently top of the meta, but very genuinely, Commandos they're great looking models. They're all very independent, so you don't have to worry too much about like cool combos. They just do really well on their own. Charging from conceal's really good. It's a fun team. It's good. It's a fun team. Failing that, any and all APL 3 teams. I love APL 3. I genuinely think the game is significantly funner when playing an APL 3 team. You need to get yourself a space boat for Elucidian Star Strikes. That's fair. Yeah, that's true. What bolt rifles are best for intercession? So the actual answer is it depends which team you're going into. But for me, what do I prefer? What do I run? It's kind of down to you, if I'm honest. I tend to run the P1s, so the standard bolt rifle, just because that can be given scopes, whereas the auto bolt rifle that has ceaseless can't. 40k isn't a good rule set, isn't exactly controversial. I understand that, Major Tom, but you have to understand that so many people play it, and some of them have to think that it's a good game. When you're going against that many people, you know, it's like, maybe I'm the one that's wrong. I'm not, but maybe. You've got to entertain the notion, you know? It is a miniature company at the end of the day, isn't it? It is. But they have a rules team. They're actively hiring for this rules team. They're actively making it more competitive. So we've got to ask, why with 40k though? Harry, should we use the Into the Dark expansion mission like Gallifall, Soul Shackle, and Shadow Vault for match play, or are they just all narrative missions? The Into the Dark expansion mission. So, the Into the Dark book comes with a set of matched play games and a set of narrative games, Spec Ops missions. 100% the Into the Dark match play missions can be used for match play. Yeah, that's all good. And they were good. I think out of them, there was one mission that's like legit, probably don't play that, because it was genuinely move to an objective, action on it, and if you roll a 6, you win the game. Don't don't play that mission. Every other mission, all good. Very interesting. Yeah. I've been saying this for a while, but possibly not on my channel. Crit Ops as a pack is really good. But it's pretty simplified. Now I think for a year ago that was exactly what the game needed. But actually, as I'm going back and looking at the missions from Octara, you know, the core book, from Into the Dark, they're very varied. And I think that's actually pretty cool, to be honest with you. So, you know, just saying. I wouldn't mind if the next mission pack had a bit more variety to it. Yes, building for 10th, I have no illusions it's going to be better than other games, or if I'll actually play a game of 10th long, just like build. Johan, that is the best way to interact with Warhammer. Build cool models, paint cool models, imagine your army on the board. Imagine what it might be. Playing the game, not particularly fun. GW have had 10 attempts at it, well, 11 times. So did Abaddon. And it took him 13. So 13th edition is going to be the day. But 40k, oh god, my chat jumped. 40k also offers valuable insights in predatory business practices. You know what? I'm going to throw this out there, Nightfall. I'm going to throw this out there. This is a controversial one. I think Games Workshop is just fine as a business. I think the price point, pretty acceptable. Here you go. Crazy. This is coming from somebody that just bought... Wait, hold on. I just bought 4 boxes of War Machine Mark IV. This was painful, okay? And in doing that, I realised the Games Workshop really not too bad when it comes to price. I'm just going to throw it out there. I'm not saying it's the cheapest, but for what you get, it's not bad at all. Like, yeah, FOMO boxes suck, but like, there's much worse out there. Also, I'm coming from gaming, computer games, you know, where like loot boxes are gambling, all that stuff, battle passes. Yeah, I don't know. There's much worse out there. Also, just look at Magic the Gathering. Literal, our game is gambling. That's all a booster pack is. At least when you buy a box of models, you buy those models, right? If you don't like what you're getting, that's kind of your fault because you know exactly what you're getting, you know the price, you know exactly what it is. I'm just saying. How did you get into Kill Team? Did you come from some edition of 40k? Did you play other war games first and stumble on Kill Team? I've always been a big 40k guy, Warhammer, that is. Never really played it, but I've just been in it and around it since I was like 10. My dad took me into a store. Again, I think I answered this in the Patreon Q&A. This is ringing a certain bell for me. And then Kill Team 2018 released, and I saw that as my opportunity to kind of get into the Warhammer sphere and actually playing it. Because of course, with Warhammer, the point is to play the game, right? Yeah. Turns out I got that bit wrong. I genuinely thought that people actually liked to play the games. I didn't realise that everyone was just a keyboard warrior that didn't play, or they were just a hobbyist, or just had an Instagram. I thought the point was to play, and that's why I really liked Kill Team 2018, because I could play it. So there you go. So no, quite genuinely, my first real I am playing this game a lot experience was Kill Team 2018. So I'm a Kill Team player, originally and indefinitely. Could you elaborate on why 40k is awful? Ooh, yes. But I'm going to come back to that. That's a whole... I have multiple scripts currently in my Google Doc of like, why... one that I've finished writing is why 40k is the best it's ever been. Because it's so shit you have to play other games now, finally. So, there you go. Yeah. Ooh, Lord Inquisitive X. Sorry for swearing. Hi. That's awkward. I will get back to that though. Yeah. Say this, 40k can be really good, but the lack of playtesting balance and shoving books and models down is apparent. 10th was rushed by at least. So that's the other thing. I'm not too fussed about the balance of 40k. I'm not in it enough that heavily skewed balance is really what's affecting me, right? It's the core of the game that I'm not jiving with, bro. Thanks, Lars. Appreciate the tips. All gorse, baby. I don't see how they can sustain this churning out models, box sets, and additions. They need a reset like 10th. What does? 10th needs a reset like 10th? I don't know. I'm reliably informed that most of their rules team play Legion in their spare time. From that winky face, I'm going to assume you're not reliably informed. But okay. Honestly, wouldn't surprise me. It's a better game. And at work, they have to play 40k, I assume. So yeah, getting away from that. Have you seen the new ruse cards in this month's White Dwarf? I have. I did a whole video on them, in fact. I recall I had one response comment under that video that was, this would have been a good video if it was 6 minutes or less. So, that was fun. That was amusing. Any thoughts? I feel they look like a laugh for casual. Yeah. Cool. Seems fine. Good way to reward players or penalise players or whatever by handing out bonuses. To be fair, in 83 to 87, Warhammer was a nice, fast, intuitive system. The problem is that that was 40 years ago and the core hasn't changed. I want to say the core has changed. Well, no. The core of the phases are still essentially the phases. They have streamlined things, right? There's a big streamlining in process, and 10th on its face has made some really interesting changes. And if I'm honest, it's a little bit beyond me to freestyle an answer. I'd have to genuinely sit down and really think about some words, you know, to tell you why I don't like the game. However, I will say, I like a lot of what they've done on paper. A lot of 10th is really interesting. For example, I like that they added rules. I shouldn't like them adding rules, right? Because that's more rules that I have to remember. But every datasheet now having an ability to go with just its stats, I really like. You know, whatever it is, like heavy intercessors when they're on an objective get whatever it is, +1 to their armor save, or +1 to their BS, or whatever, right? Or if you intercession when you shoot an enemy that's on an objective, you get, you know, like, that's really cool. It suddenly takes a model out of just being its core stats and being, this is what you do with the model, and makes it play fundamentally differently to other datasheets, even if they have exactly the same stats. And I really like that. But my gosh, I don't like playing the game. And I don't know why. The easy answer is that it takes too damn long. However, I refuse to give that as an answer until I sit down and play some proper games of Legion and Firefight, and I wouldn't mind Conquest Lost Argument of Kings. I'd like to play a whole bunch of stuff, because if it is just, for me personally obviously, that the game is too long to play and have fun for that long, then I shouldn't like those games either. And if that's the case, if I play those 4 games multiple times and I say, you know what, I didn't really enjoy any of that, then I will say that the reason that I don't like 40k is just because it takes too long. However, that might not be why. Because if it turns out that I love Legion, even though it takes me 5 hours to finish a game or whatever, then I don't know what my answer is for why I don't like 40k. You know? Anyway, the problem is 40k is the one that is an actual get games for. Oh, I know. It's so frustrating. You know, like, I wish I could get reliable games for other games. Yeah, completely agree. But you kind of have to be into 40k. Yeah, it's very frustrating, but it's true. No, very, very reliably. Fair enough. Well, okay then. If that's, I mean, great. Again, I should probably play some Legion. My issue is, if I'm honest, not much. I have a very love-hate relationship with Legion Star Wars aesthetic. There are huge swaths of Star Wars that I love the lore of, but then there's even more, it turns out, that I don't really care about. And it's this really weird thing, especially with there being more and more Star Wars media in general out there, where I'm like, I should love all of this, but I kind of don't. I'm kind of bored. Like, it's like, even though, obviously, you know, like everybody else in chat, I'm sure, I grew up watching the Star Wars movies and thinking, wow, oh, Jedi, wow. You know, it's a weird one. Your videos should never be less than 6 minutes. I come to listen to you talk. Yeah, I ramble so much I couldn't do a 6-minute video, to be fair. So, not a fear, Jerry, not a fear. TJ Marshall, so what do you think about Intercession getting rapid nerf, but Legionary gets Slanesh still, Slanesh still / Guardsman move? Yeah, it's fine. They're different teams. You can't really compare one team getting +1 inch move and another team not getting +1 inch move. They're very different teams. So, it's fine. Although, in fairness, I think it's fair to say that the fact that Legionary don't care about their +1 inch move, yeah, because they've got better things. So, you know, running Nurgle's still really strong. You can just run that. And Guardsmen with move, Guardsmen aren't. They're not APL3, they're not Marines. Totally different. Major Tom, it's the downtime between interactions with the game that kill it for me, not the overall length of it. Maybe. I mean, what you're saying makes sense, but I feel like I've had so many ideas and concepts of why I like a game and why I don't like a game, that until I sit down and play it myself, I hesitate to say a thing, and then when I go and do that thing, be like, oh, that wasn't right. I actually did like that thing, or is Legion alternating activations? Again, I haven't played for a very long time. I played once, that was it. And I haven't followed it since either, to be honest. Yeah, it's alternating activations and you pull a chit from a bag, right? Is it full AA, or is it My Go, You Go? Does anyone ever play Slanesh? No. No one does. Why would you? You've got Nurgle. It is. Okay. Huh. So, Mantic Firefight is also alternating activations. Why not that? Maybe that's just as good. I haven't played that. It just got a new edition. Maybe I'll be into it. From the few pictures you have posted on the Discord, are we going to see Glass Half Dead Blood Bowl videos? I've got my Blood Bowl pitch here. Probably, maybe, possibly. Let's think. Will you? I don't know. Making content's really hard, especially when you have a Kill Team channel. Do you know what my worst performing video of the last 6 months is? Don't check. Can you guess my worst performing video of the last 6 months? Drop your comments. What do you think it was? New players I introduced the game to says setup of Kill Team and everything before turn 1. Oh yeah, that's a very good point, Jerry. So, in my head, I've been thinking about, the best things about Kill Team, because I want to try and be positive. And I've tried to move away from things that are bad. Setup time. Yeah. You know what though? Hold on. Now that I've played a lot of Kill Team, it's not too bad. But I think That's because I decide everything before I get to the table. And so like I don't really follow the setup phase anymore. I will come to a table and it's already set up. Because I'm using turning point tactics map or whatever, and so I don't have to think about that, and I don't have to think where the objectives go, and I don't have to consider the mission, and I know which tac ops I'm taking because I just take those ones always, and I know what equipment I'm taking because I take the most brain dead stuff, so I don't have to think too much, so I don't forget it, right? And I'm used to the team. Before I got into the habit of doing that, yeah, setup takes a long time. I agree. How do you streamline that though? Like, you have to remove chunks of the game. No equipment, right? No tac ops. That makes for a great beginner game, but it's not a great game, I think. I think you lose something if you take away those decision points. But you're right, you should remove some of those decision points so that you can roll some dice faster. But I don't know how. That's a real toughie. However, ideas to help that, yeah, just play without equipment, play without tac ops. Certainly your first few games, forget that. Just throw terrain on the board, start playing. Fast as you can, definitely. Tactical rock analysis, obviously that would be the best performing video if I were to do that. You go, I go, you give orders to a limited amount of units at the start of the round from the command card you play. You then chose to activate those units you have orders to or pull from the bag. Yes, okay, but you mean alternating activations, not I go, you go. I agree that's very complicated because it's the same. I agree. I agree with you, Sadie. It sounds like I go, you go would be alternating activations. Yes, but it's I go and do all of my things and then you go and do all of your things. That's what it actually means. It doesn't make any sense, I agree. Worst video of the last 6 months was my Tyranid Codex video. There you go. The reason I point that out is because that is the 40k video. That was me with early access to a codex. That was me doing not a clickbait title, but it was like I wasn't trying to pretend I'm going to read the codex to you. It was more like, is 40k worth playing now? Nobody cared. Nobody gives a shit. If I'm not talking about Kill Team, nobody cares about my channel. Because I've spent the last 5 years building a Kill Team audience. It was never really intentional, but when you're doing 100% Kill Team videos, that's obviously what you get. So, even me doing the bigger game, people don't watch me for that. Yeah. So, I'd love to do some Blood Bowl chats. I'd love to do some Shatterpoint. I'd love to do some Legion. Screw it, why not? I'd love to do War Machine. I've just bought a crap load of stuff for that. I'd love to do some Underworlds. I'd love to do lots of content. I don't have time, firstly. I don't know that many rule systems, secondly. Thirdly, nobody cares. These are the issues that I run up against. Also, Legion can be really fast. I played 4 games inside 2 hours regularly. That's fair, it's good. It's good time, I like it. I should probably play some bloody Legion, frankly. Jerry, yeah, for beginners, make it simpler. Don't play full match rules. Definitely, yeah. Just make an elite team. Elite teams are the superior way to play. Also, go compendium. You don't need to bog yourself down with specialist teams, but if you do want to play a specialist team, just play the raw stats. Forget about their abilities. Maybe remember one guy as a comms. But otherwise, just play with guns. Forget their abilities. It's just going to slow you down your first few games. Can I buy your codex code? Unfortunately, I used my codex code as soon as I got the Tyranid Codex. Yeah, so sorry about that, but no. Cool. Shatterpoint doesn't excite me. I'd rather play Legion. The MCP Shatterpoint style game don't excite me, but Kill Team Warcry does. Lol. Weird. Why? I have zero interest in MCP. Never been tempted. I'm happy to say I won't be playing that ever. Don't care about superheroes. Weirdly. Despite growing up on the X-Men cartoon, right? Weird. I should be into them, but I'm not. But as a miniatures game, doesn't interest me. Legion. It's a bit of an interesting one. I know that obviously Legion's got a bunch of reveals, along with from AMG, along with Shatterpoint, but I don't see anything about it. Well, I suppose Play on Tabletop has done a bit of Legion, haven't they? Interesting. Interesting. I don't know. I agree. It's a game I should probably play. I don't know why I wouldn't. I'll tell you why I wouldn't. Because I'm still wishing that 40k was good. I have so much invested in 40k that I just... To play another big game means I have to buy into it. And I don't really care that much about the aesthetic of Star Wars. So I don't know. And it's already been released for ages. So I know that I can't, like, get in there from a content creation perspective. SP looks neat because nothing makes me excited like physically moving my opponents around. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, I really like the ability to move your opponent's models. If I had to add one sort of mechanic to the next edition of Kill Team, it would be much more model interaction. It does change the way the game would feel, but if I'm honest, I'd be okay with that. Yeah. Different feel. Other things would have to change to make it good, but yeah. Right. Well, we're coming up to an hour 50, guys. Are we expecting a data slate soon for Kill Team? Bought voice guard, but it's best... Oh. No. Firstly, Void Guard aren't getting touched. They are the Thanos balancing a knife on his finger, saying all things perfectly balanced. That's the Corsairs. They're not getting touched, okay? 50-50 win rate, right down the middle. They're gangster. Nothing wrong with them. So you're safe with Void Guard, not a problem. But also, I don't know if we're actually going to get a balance change. Yeah. I suppose, you know, we called the last one an emergency balance patch, but maybe it was an early balance patch because we don't have anything for the devs to update. They might give us one anyway and just like tweak things here and there, but there's no new data, so I don't know what they'd really do. Logically, anything they do this time, they should have done last time. Pass, don't know. I mean, obviously I hope that we do because easy video, but I don't think we need it. Shatterpoint has a hell of a lot of pushing and pulling your opponent's dudes around. That's all right. Yes, yeah, that's a really good mechanic within Shatterpoint. I agree. Oh, nice, good here. They're not getting touched. Yeah, no. Of course, those are fine. Jack, just in time to see me leaving. Good to see you. Good to see you. Ever magnetized models with different weapon loadout? If so, any tips? I just want to give this a try on my Thane. Yeah, fair. If you're going to magnetize any model, the Thane's the one to do it because it has like 9 loadouts, right? I have magnetized. I'm not brilliant at it, but there's not really much going on. You know, you have to buy a drill, a little hand drill, get a drill bit that is the same size as 0.01 of a mil larger than a magnet, and just drill into the shoulder, drill in, and then drill into the arm, shoulder, and like, it's very simple. I'm lazy, so don't do it much. Sorry, no, not I'm lazy. I don't like having lots of little arms lying around. Yeah. And then I end up never changing them anyway, so I don't do it. But magnetizing is actually very simple. It's not something to be afraid of. The only thing, you've got to figure out a system for yourself to check polarities. I do that very simply. I just get a little dry erase marker or a Sharpie, and I mark one side of the magnet, and just mentally check with myself, okay, I want the bit that has a mark on it to be facing out or facing in, and that's it. That's the only tip you need, really. The only update Voidguard got was fixing a typo in the original book. Exactly. They are the team. Love it. If you haven't answered the question yet, what are your thoughts on the colourful sprays? So obviously that might become its own video, but I guess I'll tell you very quickly. They're fine. There you go. If you check in my Discord, I'll post it right now actually. So I know that you said you were interested in the yellow. So this yellow is very orange, but that's fine because it's done to match Avalon Sunset. So if you're just trying to match existing colours, you're good to go. Not a problem. However, there is another Army Painter yellow where it's much, much brighter. I'm going to post it in Hobby Accountability right now. I'll show you that sunset yellow next to, I think it's called Demonic Yellow. There you go. Nice. It's in Hobby Accountability in my Discord there. So, check that out. But it's a very orange yellow, but that's fine if that's what you want. And it matches Avalon Sunset, which is probably what most people want. Personally, I prefer Demonic Yellow. I like it to be really bright and bold, because easier on the eyes. This is quite muted to me compared to that Demonic Yellow, because don't forget I'm lazy AF, as foretold. And when I use this, you can only make a color darker when you put other things on top of it, right? So I'm going to be putting a shade on top that's going to darken it down. You can't brighten something up with a shade. So, you said you want, okay, well, that's Avalon Sunset then. There you go. Yeah. Glad I could answer that for you. Yeah. I assume it's very close to Avalon Sunset. As you say, that's what they pitch it as being. But I don't actually have Avalon Sunset, a fresh pot of Avalon Sunset. Next time you come round, if you want to bring a pot with you, you can put a stroke on one of my models that have been painted in sunset yellow if you fancy it. So yeah, to double check. Cool. Well, there you go. It's been 2 hours. How did it go with GW when they had your guy on Warcom? Fine. I don't know. But how did it go in what sense? It's fine. People still tell me that I'm not good at hobby, so no changes. No changes, which is a real shame, but whatever. But I'm happy with my painting, so it's fine by me. Apparently Warcom's happy with my painting too, so it's all good. I'm proud to be on there, or have been on there, because now when people tell me I'm bad at painting, I can just link them to the Warcom article, where I not just am in it, but I'm the head banner. So, suck it. Yeah. Did they reach out? Oh, so because I'm, they've changed it recently. Basically, because I'm on their review thing, when they send me something, in the email, it will typically say, no, that's not right. They went through a phase of, if they've sent you something, they will email saying, hey, so after the initial email that says we're giving you something, they will sometimes say, hey, if you've painted up this, send an email to this guy, and it might be used on Warcom. And for that particular one, I did. There you go. So that happened because I'm already on their reviewer panel. However, that doesn't happen anymore. I don't get those. Due to, I think they've mixed up how they work behind the scenes. So I'm not one of their hobbyists. I'm one of their rules, I assume they have a big spreadsheet of creators, and I'm on there, this guy gets rules. This guy gets things because he knows rules. They don't give me anything for hobby, and so therefore they don't reach out to me to be on the hobby track, if you will. So that doesn't happen anymore, which is a bit of a shame. Have I painted anything good enough to be on there since then? No, not really. There you go. Oh, my Strikeforce Justian would totally have been up there. I don't think they did that though, did they? They didn't do a Strikeforce Justian article. Yeah. What was the process? I just said the process. So there you go. Yeah. I'm bad at hobby. I literally haven't built or painted anything all year. Well, yeah, fine. It's all good. I may bring some paint over and test it. My Imperial Fist need painting. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I suspect that sunset yellow is not a bad way to do that, but why wouldn't you just go contrast? They literally have an Imperial Fist or, you know, Dawn Yellow or whatever contrast paint. I don't like that paint, by the way, but a lot of people do. I still think Iyanden Yellow is the premier yellow. Get this man his free stuff. You know what, Vex? I'm fine with it. I have too much stuff. I don't have enough space to put things, so I'm fine with them not sending me too much stuff. As long as I get my kill team and my other skirmish games, I'm cool with it. I don't really need the big game stuff. I don't like 40k at the moment, as you can tell. Sigmar, I don't play, whether I like it or not, you know. So as long as I get my skirmish games, I'm pretty happy. Because I'm being stupid and painting them slowly. Okay. I don't think that Colour Forge is going to help you paint them slower or faster. I'm just saying Iyanden Yellow is pretty G. Anyway, that will, however, obviously allow you to get a full, all of them sprayed very quickly. Which team you enjoy the most? RN? Pass, not sure. I didn't really enjoy playing Warp Coven. So I guess before then I was mainly playing Hyrotech, and I quite liked Hyrotech. But at the moment I want to jump on over to, as I mentioned, some Kroot, some Far Stalkers, because I want to play them against this guy in a big narrative battle report I'm going to do. Because I think that's cool, fun, thematic. Because that's what the whole Far Stalker Kimban is about, taking down big enemies. So I have to learn to play them a little bit. Even though it's a narrative game, I don't want to be a trash player. Are you still interested in a game of Warcry sometime? Hypothetically, yes, Jack. But in reality, I've got so much that I'm also trying to do. I am not going to push for that. But hypothetically, yeah, sure. Is the Hyrotech very different from competitive Necron? Yes, very different. Because they get a Cryptech that has like big cool mind powers and stuff. So yeah, and there's also no melee within the teams. They don't have any flayed ones, etc. Very different. But anyway, everybody, it's been 2 hours now, so I'm going to call it a day. Go and finish up my Pepsi Max with no caffeine. This has been fun. Thank you so much for hanging out and chilling. So you know, a couple of things. For the 3 people that are still here, my dad plays Necrons, but I don't know how he feels about the new team. He should be playing Hyrotech, they're good. Trying with Hearthkin and just got Commandos painted in. Commandos are good, yeah, and they're fun. If you're US bound, I now have an affiliate link with Noble Knight Games. So if you just randomly buy and you don't care who you're buying from, and you want to buy some Warhammer, and you're happy to buy it from Noble Knight Games, I have an affiliate link. Consider using that, if you please. Then I get a 5% kickback and it doesn't cost you any more. Also, I'm doing a chat with the winner of Bad Moon Cafe weekend before, who won with Legionary. Tomorrow, it's going to be on my Twitch. So if you want to listen to that live, go check it out. And also, in general, I might generally be doing more Twitch content. So for example, at the moment, when I'm on the rare times I do a battle report, I just record it, and then that's it. But I might start streaming it on Twitch. Maybe. These are just thoughts I'm having. There you go. Oh my god, you're right. If you made it to the end of the video, I'd like to give you a big triple hello. Well remembered, because I didn't. Brian, you like Noble Knight? Excellent. Go check out my description. I think the affiliate link... Got a knock on the door. Wonder why. Yeah. It's not in the description. Okay. That's because I haven't updated the description. So I will go and check that. Anyway,